Now, more Kenyans find themselves confined to their own homes. As COVID-19 cases rise, home-based care is one of the recommended measures for asymptomatic cases. Well, my two guests tonight know all too well what it's like to have to stay home and treat a virus that we're still learning about. Eva Mutua was in isolation for close to 40 days, and Dr. Job Makoyo tested positive again after 19 days of isolation and is still treating himself at home. Welcome to you both, and thank you for your time. Eva, let me begin with you because you've had quite a dramatic experience. My first question, why so long? Almost 40 days in isolation?
I had been in South Africa from February. I was there for surgery, and then I got locked down. So I was able to get self-isolation at home because my physician gave me the way around it. So I was to be tested on day 14, but Lancet didn't come. So my day 14 was on a Friday. So my physician, Jackie Kitulu, advised that we wait until Monday and they would come. She called me on Monday evening and advised that they were busy, so I should go on Tuesday. That's why I was tested on day 19 and I got my results on day 20.
Goodness, so that stretch of time while you were waiting is the reason for the delay. So what were you doing in that time? Because I'm sure you were thinking, I'm past the 14 days, I'm probably okay. Were you tempted at all to leave your house after the 14 days was up?
Remember, I've come from a very strict lockdown in South Africa, where we were on total lockdown in level 5, where you could only go out if you had a permit. For instance, I had a partial knee replacement and I needed physiotherapy, which was very intense. I had a permit to leave the house for an hour every day. So I have the same mindset that really I can't leave the house. And also you're thinking, I don't want to let my physician down because I'm under her, you know, and not that she had told me, she told me you can't go out, but, I needed to be responsible and I didn't want to put anybody at risk. But I was ready after my test to go and get my ingrown toenails removed. I had made an appointment. I wanted to lose my hair because I usually am bald. Only for me to get the results on Wednesday at 5 p.m. She called me and I happened to be walking around because that's why I had self-isolation. I couldn't be in a hotel because of physio. I needed to be walking at least 2 kilometers every day. So that day I had a target of 5 kilometers and I was at 3.5 kilometers when I heard my phone ring and it was her. So, Jackie is usually very calm and, not that she wasn't calm this time, but, she was going around it. And then I'm like, okay, Daktari, are the results okay? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh boy, what happened? Because you have a false sense of security, if I can call it that, because I had already tested negative in South Africa. I had a normal temperature when I landed at JKIA. So how could I possibly be sick? And right. I did not at any one time associate with anybody.
And we'll talk about how that extended period of isolation has been for you a bit later on. But Job, let me bring you in. You tested positive again. Any reason for that? Did the physician explain why that could happen? I mean, it's not a new phenomenon, but did they tell you why that could have happened?
Thank you so much, Victoria, for having me. I didn't really get any reason for testing positive again. Of course, I felt like I took all the measures during home-based care, during my isolation. I took all the meds that I needed to take, actually isolated myself from my family. So I didn't really get a reason, but of course, because of my clinical background, I was always searching for information around repeat positive cases, and what that meant, talking to my friends who are pathologists, lab people, just trying to understand what does a second positive test mean? And again, what does that mean for me in terms of my continuation of treatment? Do I need to isolate myself? Yet the CDC WHO guidelines had clearly indicated that you don't need to do a retest after finishing 14 days and you don't have symptoms. There's no need of you retesting because there's this huge group of people who are still testing positive, yet they have no symptoms. But for me, I still had a few symptoms. I still had a lingering headache that was disturbing, and I had a cough that came in later that I didn't have initially. So I was a bit confused at that point.
Right. And what was your reaction when you found out another 14 days of isolation having completed the first period?
I was shocked. My personality, I'm an extrovert, so I like being around people, being outside places. So I couldn't really imagine doing another 14 days of isolation. And, you start questioning, like, do I need to go to another facility to do this? And that's because of the incidents we've seen in the media where there's a positive case, and when you go to repeat it in another facility, you get a negative test. So I was tempted to do that so that I could just get clear that everything is okay.
All right. And I can't imagine how difficult it is being in the medical field and getting that information. Like you're saying, you're inundated with so much information and trying to figure out just what is going on. We'll get more from you, Job, and Eva as well. On that note, however, let's take a